Tutorial where we'll be showing you how to use PancakeSwap and yield farming. This is an easy tutorial for beginners, so if you're one or if you're trying to brush up your skills on this platform, you're welcome to listen as we'll be taking you through the steps in order to use PancakeSwap and yield farming. Right away, you can see that we're here in PancakeSwap.finance, and this is what it looks like. One of the first things you'll need to do is to connect your wallet. At the top right corner, you can see Connect Wallet right here. Now, in order for you to do this successfully, you'll need to have a wallet. You also need to have your wallet extension installed on your browser. You can see right here we have a MetaMask, which is one of the wallets that we can use. So we're going to go over to Connect Wallet. Here you can see MetaMask, Trust Wallet, Injected, OKX Wallet, Binance Wallet. These are the popular wallets that are available. If you're not seeing yours, you can click on the More and hope that you do. And if you find yours here, you're ready to connect. So we're going to click on the MetaMask, and it's currently opening MetaMask, and it says, please confirm in the MetaMask. So the action has raised this prompt, and we'll need to click on Connect. And you can see some details right here. We're going to go ahead and click on Approve. Great, and finally we're in, and when you go over to your wallet, you can see wallet, recent transactions, your NFTs, and the option, of course, to disconnect. Then you have your profile right here. So here in PancakeSwap, you can trade, you can earn, you can bridge, and you can play. There are other options we could go through, but when we start with the trade option, you can see we're currently on the swap portal, and you could swap, you could TWAP, and you have the limit option. Of course, the swap is basically the feature where you can swap from what you have to cake. So you need to make sure that you have enough of this in your wallet in order to convert it into cake. Because when you have cake, you can actually trade more and actually earn here on PancakeSwap. In order to do this, you'll need to put in the amount of BNB, if you'd like to see one. Then you can see the equivalent here in cake. Of course, if you don't want cake exactly, you can use the drop-down, change it right here, and choose from a number or a list of tokens. The same can be applied to the BNB right here. You could do the same. So this affords you the option to swap as you like, according to your needs. We don't have any fund in our wallet, but when you do have this, you can see that it will allow you to continue and complete the transaction. Now, before you go over to completing your swap, you want to go over to settings and familiarize yourself with the different parameters. You have settings, of course, as one of the tabs, and then you have recent transactions, which will be giving you a summary of your recent transactions. But here under settings, you have swap and liquidity. Here is the default transaction speed, and it's currently on default. You have instant 7, standard 5, and fast 6. Now this setting controls the gas price measured in GWIE that PancakeSwap will suggest for your transactions. It's currently on default, but higher gas prices generally lead to faster transaction confirmation on the blockchain, but it will also cost you more in transaction fees. You have the default, which is what's selected already. Then you have the instant 7. This definitely will give you a faster confirmation, but will also take your gas fees higher. And no need to explain further, because if you go higher with the standard, and of course FOSS is definitely more prompt or than default itself. So this is really up to you, and you could leave it in default. Now you have the slippage tolerance. There is auto 0.1%, 0.5, and 1%. And this setting basically defines a maximum percentage by which the price of an asset can change between the time you initiate a transaction and when it gets confirmed in the blockchain. This is crucial for volatile tokens or transactions with low liquidity. So you'll need to set the percentage based on your preference. Now then, you also have the TX deadline, and currently it's in 20, and this determines the maximum amount of time in minutes the network has to confirm your transaction or it will be cancelled. So 20 minutes is about enough time, and depending on the liquidity of your token, you'll need to set this differently, but it's currently in 20 minutes as the default, and most transactions should work well within this time range. Great, so when that's done with all your settings, you can click on the X and proceed with your swap transaction. And we also promised to talk about yield farming, so we're going to go over to Earn, and here you can see Farm and Liquidity. Click on it, and here under Farm and Liquidity, you can see that you can earn from LP, which is liquidity pool. So these are liquidity pools of these pairs, and you can farm into them by depositing or providing more liquidity. And this basically means depositing funds into these pairs. And over time, you can expect to have your returns. As you can see, for example, USDT, USDC, under the BNB Smart Chain network, you can see the APR at 4.70%. When you hover over it, you can see that your combined APR is 470, and this is what accounts to that 470. You have your farm APR at 3.05% and your LP fee APR at 1.65%. So this is what gets you 4.70, and now it's dropped to 4.69%. And this will be changing over time, but of course, at the time you've deposited, you can expect a range of that amount displayed right there. So you have BNB, BTCB, BNB and Cake, etc. Now, BNB and Cake has 47.07% of an APR, and that's looking better than the first option we looked at. And then you'll need to take note that after you've deposited or you've added some liquidity, you will need to pay a percentage, which is called a fee tier, when you're actually trying to get your funds back. So we're going to click on BNB and Cake, and this brings up this page where we can see more details about BNB and Cake. You can see the fee tier. So this has a 0% protocol fee and a 0.05% LP fee. And then, of course, you have your network, as we discussed before. And these are just important information to take note of. Then you have your positions right here. You'll need to read through all the details. And then right away, you can add liquidity. There are currently no positions, but if you're trying to do that, you can see Add Liquidity, click on it, and you can see a little bit of the graph right here. You're going to decide if you want to deposit BNB or deposit Cake. That's why we showed you how to swap at the beginning. And when you're done with this, say you want to put about 0.50, that's about 308 USD, and you can see the equivalent in Cake. You can come over here and complete your transaction. We currently don't have any Cake or BNB, but basically you can click on this button to complete the transaction. And once you do that, you're going to see what you're expecting to have over it this time. Now, this is a price range over 1 hour. You can look at the price range over a month just to study the charts. Now, like we mentioned before, when you've actually added your liquidity and you've completed the transaction, you will go back to the farms. Then you can view your positions when you click on this tab right here. So you can see all your transactions or positions, then the active ones, inactive, and the ones that are closed. You could also have a preview of them depending on the network, but we just have all of them selected so you can see everything. Then, of course, you have your history right here, and this is basically showing you all your farming history if you've actually made some transactions. And that's important to look at to see how you've been performing. And then if you go over to Positions Manager, here you can automate your PancakeSwap V3 liquidity. So this is another feature with PancakeSwap where you can automate your PancakeSwap liquidity. However, it's a great option to try this out yourself as a beginner to understand how you can benefit and profit from this option of farming with PancakeSwap. So basically, to make things simple, it's all about swapping from your wallet, such as what you have on MetaMask, putting it into PancakeSwap, converting it into a coin that you're interested in, and then adding liquidity to that token pair. As we mentioned, BNB and Cake as a pair, and you can use that to add liquidity, and over an APR, you can expect to earn some profit from it. So this is how you could go ahead and try to use PancakeSwap and yield farming while you're on PancakeSwap. You need to make sure that you're looking at all the details, such as your addresses, connecting your wallet, and using the right network in your wallet, and right here in the PancakeSwap. Just to show you what we mean, we can see BNB Chain right here. When we click on our MetaMask, we can see we're also on the BNB Smart Chain. So you want to make sure that you're not on any other network, as this might result in a loss of funds. So you want to make sure of that this is BNB Smart Chain, and this is also the BNB Chain. Of course, if you want to change it, you'll need to change it right here and also on your MetaMask wallet extension. Remember to trade safely, and everything in this tutorial is all about showing you how you can use PancakeSwap and not an advice on what to do with your funds. We hope you can make a success of trading with PancakeSwap and having a successful yield farm. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.